Wow. Okay, so you have to remind me if I've actually told this story on the channel or not. Have I ever brought up when I got beat up by a giant Norwegian woman because there was a misconception over the N word?
I don't believe so. I don't think I've ever heard that story, so you probably haven't told it on the channel either.
One of my
Wow,
buddies,
okay.
we were talking about this, and somehow I wound up telling the story to him, and he's like, "Dude, you need to tell that story on your show." And I'm like, I don't know. It's a rough one. But here we go. So I was at a football game when I was like 14, 15 years old, something like that. Pretty young. 13
Mhm.
maybe. And it just I was at that age where I still didn't quite, you bunch of little boys, everything like that. Sometimes y'all just wrestle. Sometimes you just fight. It's innocent enough. There's no big deal. You just kind of do it. I thought I walked in on something like that happening, and I saw like a few guys all just kind of beating up on one dude. So I was like, okay, no, no, no. And I just went up and like one by one just grabbed him and tossed him off this kid. Didn't really think anything of it. I didn't think that it was like I didn't know what I was walking in on, but apparently these was a few guys that were beating up some little racist kid. I went in defending the racist kid. The racist kid slipped out the N word. Somebody put it out there that I was the one who said it. So I wound up in like squared off with this guy that I am now friends with, barely knew back then, but we're just sitting there toe to toe, everything like that. Like he comes up to fight me. I'm like, all right, we're doing this. Then I hear why. And I'm like, whoa, that's, I didn't say that. And his hands are like, and he kind of sees what's going on with me. And he's like, oh, yeah, no, this is Brad. He wouldn't say that. I barely know this guy. He wouldn't say that. So you got white dude, black guy. Black guy is in the position that everybody around him thinks that I said the N word. So he has to kind of like step up because he's not just representing himself.
Right.
As a 14-year-old kid, like those are the pressures that are kind of put on him that he puts on himself, that people around him are kind of putting on him. Like he's representing, but he
It's a weird
knows that it didn't
14 is
happen.
a weird aquarium to live in. Yes.
I will agree. So I got, and again, I'm like 13, 14 years old, whatever. I'm backed up against the fence. I'm at a football game. I got seniors with paddles climbing the fence, coming over, getting ready to absolutely thrash me. I'm surrounded by 20, 30, like a good amount of people. They're all screaming. I got a bunch of white people telling me just kick his ass. And I'm like, I'm not even gonna try. Because if I ball my fist up one more time, just to
Mhm.
even prepare, like defend myself, I know, even back then, I knew what position I was in.
Right. Yeah.
No option. This woman, 6'2", like Norwegian, American, but we grew up in I grew up in North Dakota, so Norwegian. She's
Right.
just like, he said what? And she just Viking shoving everybody through. And this woman comes through and just bam, and just starts hammering on my face. And I look right past her, and the hole that she opened up was still open because people were going to both sides of her to watch the beating happen. So I took
Jeez.
advantage and I shot through that hole and I sprinted out of there. Yes, I was running away from technically I was running away from a girl, but if you wouldn't run away from this girl, you dumb.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was a
No.
guaranteed beatdown. She was
But
not the
but
only
in
one who was going to do that. That is, could you imagine being in that guy, and not even my position? Could you imagine being in that guy's position?
No, yeah, because he's expected to be the one to stand up for all black people. Basically, is what they're putting on him, and he's cluing in that no, there's no fight here, but it's too late. The mob has already decided and called for blood, and yeah, No, and it's interesting because this just goes to show, man, like as we're going to find out in Mother Night, like even with the best intentions, you cannot take the side of the Nazi. Like it's doesn't matter if it's not cool to have 6 people beating up on one guy. If that one guy is a Nazi, you just got to let him take his beating because it's not going to work out well for you to help him. Like
Yeah.
it's
Unfortunately,
two wrongs don't make a right, but
the lesson I should have taken away from that is mind your business.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
but at the same time,
I can see where it comes from, though.
I just didn't
It's
even
like, well,
I didn't even know what had happened. I
right.
had no
Well,
idea, no clue, just innocently walking by, looked like somebody was getting jumped, and I'm like, man, that's not
Yeah.
cool.
No, yeah. No, it's true. And it's like one scene from Kick-Ass, you know, when he saves the guy from getting the beat down, and they're like, you don't even know what's going on here. And he goes like, I don't care what's going on. 4 guys beating one guy. I'm not standing here and watch that happen. And that's you know,
I took that over to the Fallout, where Titus rescues that one guy from about to get shot, and he's just getting like hammered out. He's like, the guy was banging my chickens. It's like, I took it to a funnier place.
And it is a, you know, it is a like you hear stories about like people injured in the streets and everyone walks past because it's like, yeah, everything tells us that we should help. That's a part of our instincts, but we've been conditioned under too many terrible situations that helping will just cause more problems for us. And
Oh man,
so it's not worth it.
It's really funny that you bring that up because I was thinking during Mother Night when he's going around looking for like a chess partner, I'm like, that's a serial killer. That is what that is. That is a serial killer shopping for a victim. Yes, no, our brains have been conditioned not to like know community. But what do you say we get into it?
All right, let's get into it.